6%. That's your 401k rate. Same number since HR handed you the enrollment form 4 years ago. You never touched it. You weren't bad with money. You were obedient with money. You paid your car off early. 0 credit card debt. 3 months of savings sitting untouched. Your coworkers call you the responsible one. In March, your company switches providers. The new portal shows you one number the old one never did. Projected balance at $612,000. You divide it by 25 years of retirement. Then by 12. $2,040 a month. Less than you make right now in 2 weeks. The coffee beside your keyboard has gone cold. Nothing happens. Yet everything happens. You're not looking at a retirement calculator anymore. You're looking at 30 years of assumptions, condensed into a single number. And none of those assumptions were ever technically yours. You close the tab. Open it again 10 minutes later, hoping it glitched. It didn't. By the end of this, you'll meet the thing that's been making decisions for you. It's not a person. It's not a habit. It has a name. And once you see it here in a 401k form, you'll start seeing it everywhere else in your life too. Your cousin's kid's birthday party. Paper plates, a bounce house, a folding table sticky with juice. Your Uncle Marcus is there, an actuary, the kind of person who ruins small talk by answering it precisely. He asks your contribution rate. You say 6% plus the 3% match. 9 total. He goes quiet. Long enough that you notice the bounce house motor humming in the background. For your income and your timeline, he finally says, you need to be closer to 20. 9% doesn't reach a number you can live on, he explains. It reaches a number that feels like enough because nobody ever forced you to divide it by the years you'll need it. Then the real question arrives, uninvited, the one the calculator never asks. How many years have you already lost sitting at 6%, assuming it was fine? 4? 6? Maybe 10. There's no field for that. Somehow not knowing is worse than knowing would have been. I found this at 27, Marcus says. My plan wasn't a plan. It was a plan to go broke slowly instead of quickly. Then, none of this is a promise. Markets don't move in a straight line. 20 just gives you better odds than 9. You drive home saying nothing. Somewhere between the party and your driveway, the question changes shape. Stops being how much do I have? It becomes, who has actually been driving? Here's its name. The default. Not a villain with a face. The setting nobody ever revisits, quietly making your decisions for you, one form at a time. Quick question. If someone offered you a guaranteed 20% return on your money, no risk starting tomorrow, would you take it? You probably already turned one down. This morning, actually. It was sitting in your last paycheck. Your coworker Priyanka has maxed her 401k 3 years running. You assume she out-earns you. She makes $6,000 less. Her trick. Every raise, half the increase goes straight into her contribution rate automatically the same month it lands. She got to her raise before the default did. Your friend Owen got a $14,000 raise last year. Nobody decided anything. It just found somewhere to go. And within 6 weeks it was simply his new normal. That's the whole trick. Normal never feels like a choice. So you rig your own outcome first. Auto-escalation, your rate climbs 1% every year, capped at 20%. Cost this year about $54 a paycheck. You won't even feel it leave. You wouldn't find out for another 6 months, but that one checkbox was about to be worth more than the raise that funded it. Whole time. Most people think an HSA exists to pay today's doctor bill. Some people use it to pay a bill 30 years from now. Your dentist is one of them. For $1,300 a year in, and she's never used $1 of it on anything dental. You've had one this whole time. Every visit, every prescription straight off the card, balance back to zero within a week. You've been holding the most tax-advantaged account in the entire tax code and spending it like a Venmo balance. No tax going in. No tax growing. No tax coming out for a qualified medical expense which somewhere in the next 30 years you will have. One rule to respect. Pull it for anything else before 65, and there's a 20% penalty on top of the tax. After 65, the penalty disappears entirely. Your dentist pays her medical bills out of pocket now in her 30s and lets the account sit and grow untouched, a receipt from every visit filed away. You start doing the same. 500 stays liquid. The rest gets invested exactly like your 401k and left alone. Somewhere in that account is a version of you at 55 needing a procedure, paying for it with money that was never taxed once going in, growing, or coming out. And it's the same pattern again. Not a coincidence. The default doesn't only pick your retirement rate. It's been picking how you use every account you own. Log into the 401k from 2 jobs ago. Untouched for 5 years. Still sitting in whatever fund the old provider defaulted you into on day one. Expense ratio, 0.87%. That fund wasn't chosen because it was the best one available. It was chosen because nobody expected you to ever look. Picture it this way. Imagine hiring someone to quietly remove $1 out of every 100 from your retirement every single year for 30 years. That's what you signed up for. You just never met the person collecting it. You roll it into an IRA. Rebuild it, total market index, a slice of international, a bond fund sized to your actual timeline. 40 minutes. The least interesting 40 minutes of your financial life. Also one of the most expensive to have skipped. One thing worth knowing first. Traditional 401k and IRA balances are pre-tax. You'll owe income tax whenever you withdraw. Not a flaw. Just the bill you should already be pricing in. And then something uncomfortable settles in. The same default that quietly chose your retirement fund has probably been choosing dozens of financial decisions you still haven't found. This was never just about a 401k. 6 months later. Same tool that showed you $612,000 and ruined your Tuesday. The screen loads the same way it did the first time. Same pause. Same quiet. $1,050,000. Nothing dramatic happened. No bonus. No promotion. No market miracle. You beat the default 4 times, once in your contribution rate, once in a raise, once in an account you used to misuse, once in a fee you never noticed. None of this is a guarantee. Markets go up, markets go down, and someone doing all 4 of these moves can still land in a rough decade and finish below projection. The math improves your odds. It doesn't remove the dice. Marcus asks what you ended up doing. You tell him. He nods the way someone nods watching a smoke detector finally get a battery. Most people, he says, aren't reckless. They're just unaudited. The strange thing about defaults is they almost never stop at money. They shape careers, relationships, health, entire lives. The hardest decisions to change are usually the ones you don't remember making. Every financial life is built twice. Once by the choices you make. Once by the choices somebody else already made for you quietly before you ever showed up. You spent 4 years living inside the second version and calling it a plan. The default isn't a setting. It's a decision you forgot you never made. Every week, we uncover one invisible financial decision that's quietly shaping millions of lives, and show you how the people who build lasting wealth think differently. If you want to stop inheriting your financial life and start designing it, subscribe. Next week, we audit the retirement calculator itself. After that, why many of the wealthiest people you'll ever meet ignore the budgeting advice everyone else swears by. Wealth rarely disappears all at once. It leaks through defaults no one remembers choosing.